There's an old Eastern saying that translated into English, to the best of my ability, it means the lips desire what they've been used to drinking, and the body desires what it's been used to wearing. It means that we are helpless for wanting what we're used to, and we are helpless for suffering and shunning the things that are of lower quality, of lower caliber than what we're used to. That's why it's said that, accurately so I might add, that it's very difficult to go light into the darkness, but it's easy to go from a darkness into a light. Imagine you've been living in a dirty shack all your life, and suddenly they give you a beautiful, luxury, clean, brand new place facing the ocean, to high on a hill to go live. And you can get used to that in seconds. But if you are living in that place I just described, a beautiful home facing the ocean, with bright and airy place, you know, and suddenly into a dark shack in the worst part of town where cockroaches are crawling on the floor and neighbors are yelling and there's trash strewn everywhere. I think you get the picture. The sad part is the generation of today, if you're born in the past 20 years, you think that this is the best that there is. You think that this is how women are supposed to be. You know, they're supposed to be, again, I'm sorry that I have to repeat this, but sometimes it just doesn't get through. You think that it's normal for women to be covered in tattoo, head buried in their cell phone. When the head is up talking, they are loud, in your face, miles apart from any grace or class or decorum. No hint of femininity, and no hint of respect and knowing the roles of a woman and the roles of a man. There are equal number of men these days that have no clue on how to be a man. I'm sorry to say, this is not a misogynist thing. This applies to both sexes. Men that are raised by the wrong family, with focus on the wrong things, that they are taught to be mousy and pushover, and they are confusing being gracious and compassionate and polite and well-mannered with being pushover and soft and agreeing with everything the woman says, even if they don't believe in it. You know where I'm going with this. The sad thing, if you've never seen clean streets, law-abiding citizens, where everything works as it's supposed to, where people are respectful to each other, where people follow the law, when those who break the law are severely punished as they should be. You know, if you've never seen that, then you think it's normal to go smash and grab into a store and steal things and act with futility like there's nothing wrong with that. Jumping up and down on police cars, setting fires to police cars, throwing trash on the street, defecating on the street, urinating on the street. No respect for authority. When a police stops you, instead of complying, pulling out your gun and trying to shoot him or just disrespect him and asking for your supervisor and all that garbage that we see today, which is indications of nothing less than total breakdown of the society. And as with any other business entity, as with any other entity that you encounter, where you go into a restaurant or you go into a hotel, and you see that the staff are not doing their assigned jobs right. The rooms are not clean. The restaurant, you go in and everybody ignores you. The food is bad. Who do you blame? The management, the people that are responsible for hiring, training, and monitoring the quality. So when in a country there is lawlessness, when there is a rampant filth in the streets, rampant disregard for law and authority, and breakdown of order, Who do you blame? Who do you blame? It only happens because it's tolerated. It only happens because it's tolerated. Why don't we have that in Singapore? Why even if you spit on a street in Singapore, you are fined? Why we don't have that in the streets of Japan? Why are their streets so clean and law-abiding? The cars there look like they just drove out of a showroom. They're always sparkling clean. Why is that? Why is it that other airports you fly into in other countries are so clean and well run, and then you come into the US, the world's richest and most powerful and the most economically successful country, and with people that are most undeserving, most disrespectful of law and authority, and most ignorant and unaware of how things are supposed to be around the globe? Because they're simply ignorant, because they're born into this and they simply don't know, and they're continuing to be, perpetuating what they see. Their lips are not used to quality drinks, and their bodies are not used to quality clothes, to go back to the original saying at the beginning of this video. What's the point of this video? The point of this video, if you haven't gotten it already, is when you don't know how the light looks like, when you're born blind, how can you miss seeing? They asked Stevie Wonder, a famous American singer who was born blind, that if you miss seeing. He absolutely doesn't. He said one time that I miss driving, but he doesn't say I miss seeing. If you've never had something, there are people that are born without arms and they don't really miss them because they never had it. God be with them. But it is what it is. This is all about being, it is what it is. This is what we're dealing with now. But I'm telling you, there is another way. What you've been seeing is not all there is in the world. And how do you find out? Well, there are still planes. You can travel to other places. I cannot think of a better education than traveling, because it'll teach you what things are better elsewhere and what things are worse, and what things are worse where you are staying, living, and what things are better where abroad. That's the only way you will know. Because if you think the TV and the media is going to tell you the truth, I have a oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you cheap. Call me and I'll hand over the deed to you. All the best.